Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz. It is August 30, 2017, 12:40 a.m. Birmingham. Topic, Last Hour. That is the title of this blog, The Last Hour. And let me read to you, this is, by the way, a prophecy update article. And I'll put it down in the box below where you can go to it. And another one, how much longer can the world continue as it is? Well, it can't. It can't. And but anyway, let's go back when the scriptures and when Christ was walking here and he talked with the prophets and the apostle. So throughout scripture, we take note of the different statements from Christ, the prophets, and the apostles regarding time in the last days. One could easily note that the prophets and apostles viewed themselves as being in the last days, even in their day. The nearness, as we all call it, has been cannon fodder for the skeptic and mentalist alike, and have used it for centuries to try and beef up their different views and positions. Will be seen as how they, apostles and prophets, view themselves as being at the end of all things. How much closer to the Lord's return are we now than they were then? Well, that's easy. We are a minimum of 2,000 years closer. This begs the question of how long the last days actually are in terms of Bible prophecy. Here's a sampling of just how the end times are viewed in regards to time itself. Jesus said, "Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When the branch has already become tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things, know that it's even at the door. For surely I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away until all these things take place." Matthew 24, verse 32 and 34. "And they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all the nations. And Jerusalem will be trampled by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled," or until the end days. Now, when these things begin to happen, look up, lift up your head, because I am about to call you home. Luke 21, verse 24 and 28. And he says, "Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give everyone according to his work. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the last, the first and the last, and the end." In Revelation 22, verse 12 and 13. Well, right there, Jesus said that the Gentiles will rule Israel and Jerusalem. And you'll be led away captive and dispersed throughout the world, through other lands. And you will stay there until which time you will be called back home to your land. And when you come home and you take control of your land, you are the generation that will see my return. You are the generation that are entering the end days. The generation that Jesus spoke of is 70 years. They took Israel back. They started back in 1878 or 77, but officially in May 5, 1948, the Jews officially called Israel home, and Jerusalem its capital that day. And if you count May 5, 1948 to May 5, 2018, 70 years. 2018, we're not quite there. But the Jews, they will be in 2018 in weeks. On September the 20th, 2017, just weeks away, it'll become year 5778 on the Hebrew calendar, and we'll still be under the Gregorian calendar 2017, and we'll be there until January 1, which becomes 2018. But the Jews have already started their 70th year at that time. Now, it did not say, this is it. On the 70th year, I'm going to return. It said, you're the generation that on the 70th year, you will see all these things take place. So the 70th year will begin Daniel's 70th week for the Jews. The Gentiles who ruled and who trampled on Jerusalem and stayed in Israel all that time, they weren't Gentile Americans. They were Gentile Arabs. They were Gentile Muslim. But keep in mind, they weren't even here for 1,400 years after the Jews. Jews came before any of them. So, but they took control and stayed in Israel all that time. But Jesus said one day they're going to leave and you're going to come in. And when you come in, then you view yourself as the fig tree that putteth forth this leaves. You're it. You're my people. This is the end day. You're the generation that'll see the end days come. Again, doesn't mean that the 70th year stops. That's the year that the rapture of the church occurs. That's the year of the, well, it can't be that because 7 years have to play out. That 7 years has not started yet. But it does not mean by any means that we will be raptured then, or it doesn't mean that we will wait until the end of that 7 years. Let me say this. I would say this. In 2018, or their year 5778, that's the last generation. That's the generation. Well, anytime in that next time period of 7 years, anytime there, the final 7 years of tribulation could begin. So that could extend time 14 more years. But we won't be here. It is my belief only, and the evidence I have is overwhelming by all the things that are taking place throughout this world today. Horrible events that's going on right now. That the ISIS, they're burning girls alive in cages, Christian girls. They're torturing the boys and then beheading them today. ISIS is still doing it today. I've got that thing right here. Here, I'm going to read part of it. Here we are, Jake Sekuloff. He's talking about, okay, Christians are being exterminated at a horrific pace. It's expanding. Our urgent deadline is just 48 hours. You can make the difference. ISIS jihadists bombs Christians as they worship and behead them for refusing to convert to Islam. In Syria, they're crucifying Christians. Kids. They're crucifying Christian kids. In Iraq, they're burning Christian girls alive. Syria's Christians, 66% decimated. Iraq's Christians, 87% destroyed or displaced. Guys, this is what's going on now, today. It can't continue that way. And something that troubles me way over and above everything, I mean, not over and above our brothers and sisters being killed. No, they come first. And we got to pray for them every day that God will take away their fear and pain. But what's getting me right now, this moment, besides that, is the most devastating selective judgment we've ever had in the United States of America. That is screaming volumes to America. Look, guys, this is it. Your role is pitiful in this world today, and I'm not pleased with it. I don't know. That's my guess. I'm just looking at what's going on. And the hurricane is still beating the stew out of Houston. Tens of thousands displaced, lost everything they've got. Everything they ever had is gone. Guys, how are we going to get out of this? Well, we're not. But we may be taken out of this soon. That is my hope. That is my prayer. But never stop praying for the peace and safety of Jerusalem, and stand by the Jews. That's a request straight from God to you in Genesis 12:3. Do that. Continue to pray. 2 Chronicles 7:14. And remember what John 3:16 says. Do those things, even if it's for a week, and it'll help you. It'll change your life. But prepare to go home. Jody Wolf Expoz.